That's The Cure and possibly one of my favourite tracks from the album, The Head on the Door, and that is The Blood. Welcome, Robert Smith. That's all about a drink, you were saying.
Yeah, well, not all about a drink.
Well.
it started off with a present someone gave me of a bottle of Portuguese peasant's wine, which is called The Tears of Christ. And I was just struck by the label, which had the Virgin Mary with Jesus under one arm and a bottle under the other. And I thought that this looks like a good drink, so I drank it, and then I felt all Portuguese and something came over me and that song came out of it.
I'm amazed that they're allowed to do that, the Virgin Mary with a bottle under one arm and a baby.
They probably aren't. It was probably a dummy label, actually, so you probably was stitching me up.
Times are really sort of busy for you at the moment, aren't they? Things are hectic because the album's over and done with, but the tour is imminent.
Yeah.
You should be rehearsing.
Yeah. Each day I say that to myself.
Do you look forward to touring?
At the start of something like this, I do. I'm really, really looking forward to it because it's like a new lineup and it's all new songs, and we're going to different places. I suppose by the time it gets to late November, I'll be sucking my fingers and thinking, oh no, another few weeks to go. But maybe I won't this time. It's not really the playing side of it. It's just the amount of time you spend having to get from one place to another. Oh, this is like, when I used to want to grow up, I never used to want to travel, and I've actually ended up doing it as my main occupation, I think.
But when I said to you before, oh damn, I've forgotten the tour dates, do you know them? And you were very quick to sort of say, yes I do, because I can remember my days off. Yeah.
Well, I know when I'm coming back into London, you see, that's how I sort of gauge it. But also, there's only about 8 concerts anyway, 9 concerts, so it's not too much even for me to remember.
Well, what we're doing this evening, we've picked 3 tracks from the album, including the new single, and you've also picked 3 of your favourite tracks, not cult tracks, I hasten to add. And the first piece of music is Echo and the Bunnymen. In fact, my favourite single from last year, Killing Moon. Do you like Echo and the Bunnymen?
Yeah, I do, very much.
Do you follow music avidly, or is it the case as with many musicians in that you don't bother because you're so busy working on your own stuff?
I don't bother, but then I never have done really. I sort of have tended to like the same groups over and over. I'm very open to new suggestions, but it's very rare I ever hear anything that moves me enough for me to do anything about it. Plus, there's too much music that I haven't heard. You know, like I'd much prefer going through the bargain bins and picking out something that's got a good cover, because like 90% of the records that are made are just the same records over and over again. It's very, very difficult to get through the dross, really. But when you hear a record like Killing Moon, it's very apparent straight away.
Killing Moon from the album Ocean Rain, and that is Echo and the Bunnymen. Or Killing Moon. Yes, that's right. Killing Moon from the album Ocean Rain by Echo and the Bunnymen. We got there in the end. I'm talking to Robert Smith. I was just going to say to you before, when you were talking about music, how you're, you were recently, with In Between Days, a breath of fresh air to the charts, albeit air that's already been there before, because music at the moment seems to be quite boring.
Yes, it is, but it's nothing new. Generally, contemporary music's boring. But it's funny though, because like, I always think that we're a breath of fresh air, but we're in a minority really, because the people that seem to have control over what you see and hear don't seem to think we're a breath of fresh air at all.
Why do you think that is?
Don't know, because we've never seemed to fit into a stereotypical image, but I've never been able to figure out what it is.
Is it because you don't walk around going, hi, this is showbiz and we're having fun? It's
because we don't walk around saying hi to anyone.
So what have you been doing in the sort of period before making the album? What were you up to?
Doing very, very little earlier this year, because it was the first time I'd been able to have a break for a while. Sort of poor thing. But just otherwise it would have turned into a treadmill again, and I've become very aware of the fact that we need to have a bit of time off to remain fresh.
Did you take time to do things that you didn't normally do, or take an interest in things that you'd sort of left behind or whatever?
I tend to spend most of my spare time watching films or reading books. Just anything that stimulates me, really. Nothing physical. Pool, I've tried to improve my pool playing.
What sort of movies do you like watching?
There's no particular type. I've seen some good, mainly on video. I like watching video. Repo Man, I thought was really good.
I haven't seen that, but everybody raves about that.
Once Upon a Time in America with De Niro in it.
Yeah.
That was really good. Lots of films. Even films that are supposed to be very crass sort of films. I found I enjoy.
But you like to stay at home?
Well, now that I've moved up to London, I do enjoy staying at home. Yeah. I still haven't finished decorating or anything. It's only been 18 months. I've done about 2 rooms so far. It's really good.
We'll have some more music. This is your new single, and this is Close to Me. Oh, yeah, I love the end of that. That's The Cure. And Close to Me, I'm talking to Robert Smith. And you'll have noticed, Robert, this letter here from a lady called Pee Wee Perkins, who asks you a series of bizarre questions. Question 5, if you were going to be murdered and the method was of your choice, out of the following, how would you prefer to end your life? Drowning, hanging, electrocution, decapitation, shooting, stabbing, or burned at a stake? And what would your dying wish and words be? That's horrible.
I didn't know that was one of Mary's pseudonyms.
Absolutely. Actually, she wants to know when you're going to marry Mary.
It's Mary's mum's pseudonym.
I mean, that's awful, isn't it?
Yeah, none of those would be my choice anyway, really.
And what would your dying wish and words be? I mean, who knows? I'm going.
I think, the dying words is really good. There's lots of famous people who always have their dying words, and I always wonder if they figure them out beforehand, because it'd be a good idea, really, if you wanted to be remembered for posterity, because otherwise you'd sort of say, oh no, or something. It doesn't really go down very well. So it'd be a good idea. You should start thinking about that.
Well, I was talking to this nurse the other day, and she said the most popular phrase when people are dying is, I'm going.
Oh dear. No, I wouldn't say that. There's something I've forgotten to tell you. That's probably the last thing.
By the way...
It's not the sort of thing you should be talking about on Radio 1, is it really?
It's quite depressing. Cult hero. I'm a cult hero. We were told we had to definitely play this, otherwise you'd beat us about the head.
Do I look like that? Yeah, just because it's a savagely underplayed record, really. It's a hit in Canada, I think, in about 1981. That was it. A bit like the Glove, really, cult hero. Mega stars, stifled at birth. But Frank's gone back to being a postman, I think, again now. His dreams of stardom are shattered, and all because of Radio 1 programming. Make this a hit.
Cult hero, and I'm a cult hero. Are you a cult hero?
I was then. I haven't been for a while.
What do you think you are now? I mean, where do you fit in? Are you sort of one of these people that's allowed to release singles every now and then? I mean, you don't have to do it regularly, and you're sort of sure of the fact that it's going to be a hit, or what?
I never think about it, to be honest. It's like that people more and more, I suppose, as time goes on, ask me what it's like to be me. But it hasn't really changed that much at all. In that I'm not aware of my position, if you like, of having changed at all since we started, because I don't really come into contact with that side of things, apart from when we're on stage, which is an abnormal situation, but it's one you come to terms with, really, because it's entertainment. When you're standing there and people are staring at you, I mean, I quite often stop in between songs and think to myself, this is really ridiculous. But getting lost in the songs, you don't ever think about it. And outside of that environment, I mean, very rarely will people come up to me and say, go on, you are, aren't you? And I say, no, I'm not. Or if I say, yes, I am, they say, no, you're not. So the conversations usually goes like that. It's the same. I suppose if all 5 of us walked down the road, people would say, oh, look, it's The Cure. But when there's only one of us on our own, people don't really know what we look like anyway, which is good. I prefer it that way. But
also, you don't hang around. I mean, you don't go to all of those parties that end up in gossip columns and hang around in that very superficial world, do you? Which is, hello, darling, talk to you later. So is it easier for you to stay with your feet on the ground?
Yeah. Well, all of me stays on the ground at the parties I go to. Ones that never get in the gossip columns.
Is success important to you? I mean, had you released In Between Days and the album and the whole thing had been a dismal flop, would it have bothered you?
Well, it depends. It is important because otherwise you get a sense of frustration if what you're doing isn't being heard by people, and if you don't think it's being treated for its true worth. I suppose it sounds very pompous, but obviously we only release records because we think they're good, and so you want other people to think that as well. Success we gauge in terms of, let's say, inside the group. It really has very little to do with selling records, although if we didn't sell records we'd be pressured into doing something we didn't want to do. So it's sort of a vicious circle, but once you escape from it, it's good to be away from it. Luckily, we've never had to conform to any set plan, because we've always had people around us that have believed that what we do is good anyway, so we don't have to do anything else.
But say everything did fail. Say in the next 2 years, everything you released was a big flop. Have you got...
Nice.
Have you got enough money perhaps never to work again, or would you want to work again? I mean, could you go and work in an office or go and be a rep?
No,
I couldn't imagine you being a rep, but...
I've never worked, and I've always had enough money not to work, which before I did anything was absolutely no money at all. But the convictions that I've got, I would never do anything I didn't want to do, even if it meant starving. And it sounds like a very romantic ideal, but I was deadly serious about it. I mean, for the 8 months after I left school, I didn't do anything, and I didn't have any money at all. But you don't really, beyond a certain point, I can't see why people worry so much about having a lot of money, because I don't have a lot of money. On paper, I suppose I make a lot of money, but I physically spend very little money at all, because I can't think of what to spend it on. I mean, most of my drinks are free, and that's like at least 90% of my
But perhaps you are in that privileged position where you will get your drinks free. I mean, it's very difficult to explain what you think or what you feel about money, say, to somebody who's on the dole.
Yeah, but I give it away a lot, though.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the sense in hoarding money for my old age. I think it's a really stupid thing to think.
I would agree.
Certain people say to me, you'll be sorry about this when you're older. But, I mean, I'm older now, so it's not really something I ever think about. No, if I find that I've got more money than I feel comfortable with, I'd give it away, because I have a very I do, beneath it all, have a very strong sense of morals, really.
So what do you think of people, perhaps pop stars then, who make loads and loads and loads of money and are sitting there hoarding it? I mean, is there any need
they
for somebody
always
to
look
have...
like it, though, don't they, really?
Is there any need for somebody to have more than £1 million?
No, there's not even any need for anyone to have more than, I don't know, £100,000. I'd be horrified if I had that much money. I mean, you can easily make it. The thing is that you have to compromise so much to earn that sort of money, unless something happens out of the ordinary. But no, I think it's disgusting that people should have that much money, really. In that sense, I'm a socialist, but I'm not really a socialist.
Do you think things will change, though, because unemployment is so high and because a lot of people are having less and less, that in the future it might have an effect?
Yeah, I think there'll be more social unrest than like a couple of years ago. I imagine it's building up to that again.
Right, let's cheer up. Petula Clark, Downtown. I used to sing this when I was a kid. I used to love it, yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't born with it, actually.
Shut up. Why do you like this?
Yeah, because my mum used to sing it to me when I was in the cradle.
Bitch. Petula Clark and Downtown. Doesn't she sing terribly nicely?
Yeah, perfect.
It's ever so sweet and ever so nice. So it's the tour, which starts on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you have a say in where you're going?
Up to a point. This time round, we either had the choice of doing quite a long tour and playing a couple of nights in various, in a lot of towns, in the same venues as we played last year, or going up to the venues which have, there are none bigger, sort of thing. But as soon as we've never done that in England, we've done it in other places, I just thought it would be good to see what it was like, what the reaction was like. Like playing Wembley, the alternative was like playing 5 nights at Hammersmith, and I think it would be better for us to play 1 night at Wembley rather than 5 nights at Hammersmith. We could obviously play 1 night at Hammersmith, but then we'd just have all these people who would like to go and see us and who wouldn't. But if it doesn't work, then next year, if we play, we won't play there again. It's like one of the things. But if you never try it, the only thing... See, about things like Wembley, people are always saying, you can't play there, it won't be right. But you never see a group like The Cure play somewhere like Wembley, so you don't really know. You always see really horrible, mega, boring bands play places like that. So I'm sure we can make it good.
And what about outside of The Cure? Are you working on anything else?
Not really. Not at the moment. The only thing that I'm working on is actually to do with The Cure. It's a book. It's the official autobiography of The Cure. But it's so sordid that it's taken me a long time. I have to figure out what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not. If I can't say what I think I can't say, the book's going to be about 4 pages long. There's very little in it that's legal.
But if you've got a book out which is about you and you've actually said, yes, I agree to that, is that better than all of these magazine articles where you don't quite know who Robert Smith is? I mean, if you read them all, you know, one is weird, one is dead mysterious, and another one he's this, you know.
Well, there's only ever been one book about us, which is an Italian book last year, which was all right. I couldn't understand it, obviously, because I can't speak Italian. But the pictures looked like they were of us, so it was a book about us. But the one that we're doing, I mean, I'm writing it in conjunction with the French girl, just because she seems to know a lot about us. She fills me in on all the blank bits. Yeah, so I suppose it will be as close to the truth as any of us will allow it to be.
And that'll be when?
Have to be a bit careful. It's supposed to be finished by Christmas, so it can come out in April. God, it even takes longer than releasing a record, making a book.
It doesn't it? Yeah. Well, thank you very much indeed for interrupting your rehearsals and everything to come in. Can I just say you look really well?
Thank you.
You do. Very fit.
Yes, it's because I haven't shaved today.
Robert Smith, thank you very much indeed. Another track from the album. This is 6 Different Ways.